value to create an experience, right? Because for me, it was okay. Let me curate an experience that basically exudes her value and her interest, right? So our very first date, like we went to a nice, wonderful dinner. I know she loves Indian food, so we went to an Indian restaurant. I know she's into creating stuff, arts and crafts, so we went to, a pottery place where we made our own pottery and we painted and we sat there and got our hands a little dirty, and I could see like her, especially when you're trying to see her value, is create an experience where she can exude that value in that particular date. Because you want to see, right?
Okay, I'm sharing it on my tube on the
What is it? What's the name?
My name?
Yeah, it should be YettaStarzz, right?
Yeah.
You put 2 Z's?
Yeah. YettaStarzz with 2 Z's.
With my wife when we were courting, and we're still doing that now as we're married. It's like we're still having these experiences together. So my advice for the men is, it's like, get to know the woman, right? Figure out what her interests are and curate an experience that speaks to her value and speaks to what she likes, because you can really see that she's in her element. Plus, it shows to her what it says to her is that you pay attention, right? You pay attention, you listen, right? And it shows that you really appreciate who she is, because these are the things that really pours into her. So I just wanted to add that, but this is a dope conversation. I'll close there.
Hey, Mike sent me something, man. It had me dying, man. Listen, if you're in the audience, you got questions, big questions, just send them to me in the back channel. Michael always gets me with this when he says that he's being
celibate.
Financially celibate until marriage. But that keeps Hey,
So, Josh, let me ask the question. So, a few months ago, I met this guy who he turned out to be when the right one comes, but he turned out to be when the cheap one came. Because check this out, I think he was related to you, Josh.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
Wow. That might be a green flag.
I'm just saying. Okay.
Just know, I like that.
I know you do. I'm feeling with it. I'm ready. Okay, so a few months ago, he, like I said, and he's nice. I mean, he has nice pockets, so he had some change, Anthony. He had money. But I wasn't dating him for that. He was a nice guy, and, we were compatible and the whole nine. So he was listening to some things I liked. He knows I like art and poetry, so he took me to a spoken word event where tickets were probably $20. Okay, no big deal. So we were right under that $50 budget. Now, like you said, Josh, depending on if the date goes well, it may progress. So afterwards, he asked me, was I hungry? Yeah, girl is hungry. I ate before, but I'm hungry. So we went to go eat afterwards. So we go to this Asian restaurant and, we eat and have a good time. Conversation is going well. So after dinner, we're having a conversation. This joker says to me, I really appreciate that you.
Hello. 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 Somebody just called me from Ethiopia.
But fam, he thought sounds like a personal problem. He thought that he was giving me a compliment. Like, he thought he was like saying, I noticed that you didn't pick the most expensive thing. Like, he was showing me, pointing out a good quality. And I still thought it was distasteful because we don't even know each other that well. Does that make sense?
It goes back to communication.
Yeah.
That was your question to me?
That's my first question. I'm not done. That's my first question. That was the first question.
What's the question? Because you asked me.
Yeah, what was okay. So the you know,
what was the first question?
the first question was I wrong for feeling like that was a red flag that he said to me, you know, thank you for not picking out the most expensive thing on the menu. Should I have
that's a yellow flag. That's a yellow flag. That's a flag. That's a flag. That's a yellow flag.
Yes, you're wrong. Go to the next question.
Yeah,
What am I doing?
you're wrong.
That's a flag. Okay. So my second question is, so he asked me out on a second date. I let that slide because I said, okay, he doesn't know any better. I'm gonna let him slide. I'm gonna give him another chance. He's a really nice guy. So he asked me on a second date, and he asked me, where do you want to go? So I said, well, maybe we should do something outdoors. Let's do something, you know, fun. I'm still considering, you know, the budget thing and not knowing he had a budget, but I'm just a nice person, so I'm not trying to break his pocket. So he hints around about going to, I live in Atlanta, so he hints around about going to the botanical gardens. But he doesn't make a solid decision about going. He just hints around about it. So there was a play in Atlanta that I mentioned, and I said, well, let's go to this play. He calls the next day and says, well, since you want to go to the play, are you paying for the play? Are you paying for the play? Dude. And so he says to me, well, I was going to take you to the garden because I already had that in my budget. So needless to say, I did not go on the second date. And I guess my second question is, did I take that too far? Was I wrong? Because he should have just been clear that was in his budget. So that was his loss.
Wait.
Was I wrong?
Was you inviting him to the play though?
So he asked what I wanted to do after he had already decided. See what I'm saying? He was trying to get red flag. Yeah, he was trying to impress me, I think, but he already had decided where he wanted to go. So I just think he didn't.
That's why I said, brothers. I'm a fan of brothers scaling the date, because my thing is, if you can't go higher, it's like this. Like, why would you start off at the highest level and you know you can't maintain it or even go higher? Because she's looking for at minimum the same level of experience, if not more. Most women looking for more, because most women are like, okay, we started here that first ring, and they're looking for more. So my thing is,
you're in the matrix, Joshua. You're in the matrix, my man.
My thing. I'm in the matrix.
She's looking for more out of your sales service. I think the bigger problem is like, and I don't want to call it a problem, but like Curtis made a mention that like a man should make an effort to do what she likes, so on and so forth. I kind of have like an opposite position on
Why
that.
is my thing saying I'm on
I think
airplane mode?
for a man to find one right woman to go through possibly a
Not
life,
mine. Mine's
okay?
a Pepsi's.
So if
I said,
them,
hey.
Oh,
because that's all she got though, ain't it?
or whatever. I think that's way too much for one man to do. At the end of the day, you just gotta be.
What it do, y'all? This YettaStarzz TV.
Hold on.
I'm live.
You
Got to get in on this conversation. Here we go.
Right? So
you know, I'm not spending more than $50 on the first date. Just trying to see who agree and who don't agree. And whatever you got to say it in the size for it. But please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button for your girl, though. Let me know something, though. Show me some type of love. But before you do anything, subscribe and hit the like button.
But at the end of the day, as a guy,
subscribe and hit the like button. It's my first day on live. Don't knock me. I'm doing it. What it do? Live coming straight from LA.
I'm gonna go check out some real estate because I was on the market for something. I said I got a couple of open houses I'm gonna go to. Why don't you come and join me? And that wasn't like necessarily one of her original interests, but she had an amazing time looking at kitchens and bathrooms and talking about like real estate stuff that she never even was familiar with before. But that was just what was going on in my life. And she enjoyed herself. And then obviously we went out after because I enjoyed my time with her.
Because it's not sending it to you. I can't send that to your phone.
I bet she did enjoy. Like, what woman ain't gonna enjoy?
I can't. I feel it.
But my point is this.
On Facebook, if you ain't got Facebook, you ain't gonna be able to get it.
My point is,
you don't got Twitter, you can't get it.
I wonder what she likes. Because a lot of times she wants to see what kind of things you into, right? she also wants to like learn some things from somebody else, but oftentimes guys are so wrapped up on, I wonder what she likes, let me try to impress her. And in reality, that might disqualify you at the same time if you're just another experience that she's gonna have with another guy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Can I respond to that as a woman?
Go ahead.
Thank you. No, the first date isn't about you. The first date is about the woman. I feel like you should plan the first date surrounding the woman's interest. No one's saying like if she's into aerial views to take on a helicopter ride or something like that, but in that first conversation that you have with her, like you should be asking questions to get to know her and see where her interests are, and then plan something around that. It's you basically setting up how you're going to lead it and showing her that you pay attention to her and you listen to her and that you're detail oriented. For me, the man who actually listens to Leslie and listens to what I desire and is most accurate to that, he will stand out more than anybody else. If a man decides to take me to Mexico on the first date, but I never told him anything about me liking the beach, I never really told him anything about me liking Mexico, and I'm not going to say the date that I actually stand out. You would just need to take me on a date and talk to me to know that. But the man that got closer to my interests would stand out of the man who blew a bag on me on the first date, because he showed me that he can actually listen and pay attention and not just decide what I like or decide what we're going to do without taking anything about me into consideration.
Well, I think you misunderstood what I said then, right? Because if you're having a conversation with a woman on the phone, right? Yes, you're going to know what her interests are, but you're also going to know what your interests are. And if there's something you already like doing that aligns with what she likes anyway, right? And you also enjoy it, then it's a win. I'm not talking about taking her on something that you know she's not going to like because of what you spoke to her about. I'm talking about the men that like, oh, she likes these things and she likes this, she likes that. He takes her on that date and he's not even really enjoying that experience himself. But then he's going through all these days trying to vet and trying to find a particular woman and not even enjoying himself because he's just busy trying to impress a woman. That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying for men to have a variety of interests. So that way, when they do talk to a woman, if she has an interest and it's something that aligns with yours, oh, I like this too.
It's Westbrook's first, right?
I know a good place where we can do X, because even if she turns out to be a bad date, guess what? He's still doing something that he also enjoys. That's what I'm talking about.
With an S? Chime in here.
Hop in that, Chrissy.
Can I go after Chrissy?
Yes, you can. Cora.
I date a guy on a budget, and I love it.
Chris, answer this. You talking? How many days does it take for the man to have a date about him? Go ahead.
You get my name.
You're petty.
I date a guy who's on a budget. So I've said it before. I believe in the talking phase. So the first time we actually met up in person, because technically friends hooked us up. We met at a happy hour, and I actually left my card in the car. And so when I saw him, I said, yo, my bad, I left my card in the car. I'm going to have to cash app you. I was already prepared to pay for me. He looked at me. He was like, man, you did that on purpose. And we laughed about it, and I actually still cash apped him. Even though he was like, I got it. I cash apped him. We had further conversations to see like what that would look like with us communicating, hanging out, dating, whatever. And over time, I mean, he did pay for a nice date. So what we realized is I was cooking and we would do stuff. We would just hang out because we're chilling as friends. We're still technically not official boyfriend and girlfriend yet. We're just slow walking it, right? I'm letting y'all in my business a little bit. But he said, if I invite somewhere, he's like, of course I'll pay for it. But if we just meeting up, we just kicking it, then I don't feel obligated to pay. And I was actually okay with it. He is on a budget, but he manages money way better than I do. And our deep, in-depth conversations, we both talk about how we were raised by single parents and we've seen struggle. I was the type that was exposed to credit cards and I went to college. He didn't go to college. He does not like the idea of owing money to anybody. So he has no debt. He drives a 96 Honda. He has conversations about financial literacy all day long. I'm stronger in my faith. He's stronger in finances. And we're okay with that. I can pray heaven down, but I can't outpray poor practices from my early 20s. So while I'm in a place where I'm getting my finances together, paying back my student loans, we actually have conversations about money. And I've actually never been vulnerable about my finances with anybody I've dated other than him. And he doesn't look at me different for it. First of all, I'm not swimming in debt. I just feel like it because I have student loans. But it's like I see a light at the end of the tunnel. Ironically enough, my pastor is even preaching a series on money, and he's come to church with me during the series. So we hang out. I'm not the most bougie person, so we can go and get Starbucks, and I'm cool. We can go to Cinema Cafe and all of that. Now, we did have a conversation where I told him I feel like we're on opposite ends of finances in regards to the fact that he was in a relationship before me and he had only been single for a short while compared to me. I've been single for 3.5 years. So for him, I'm like, you're used to somebody always depending on you. And I think it's a breath of fresh air that he's with someone who's independent. But I also told him I've been so independent that now I'm getting to a point where I'm almost tired of being independent. So it's not that I need him, just the idea of being with somebody who wants to take care of me. Not like I'm a sugar baby or I'm a gold digger, none of that. I just would want my man to have a desire to do certain things for me. But we've had that conversation. You know what? It's certain things you don't got to do for me while we're in this space, because then what will we have to expect when we do make it official? So, I mean, a lot of people might disagree with how I'm moving. I'm just trying things different because I've been with guys who had money. I've been with guys who were broke. I've been with guys who presented to have money and wanted to take me out to these nice places and later resented me because they went broke trying to impress me. And I ain't even about all of that. I'm not going to expect the guy to do more for me than I can do for myself. And I'm with somebody that sometimes I'm like, hey, you can be a little bit more creative because I'm tired of good conversation. Like, we can talk all day and I love it, but I need you to get a little bit more creative. So I said all that to say, a date that's $50, that's cool. I'm probably going to be like, yo, we can probably finagle a $20 meal and go spend this other $30 on something else. What we working towards, what we saving towards, we can do a better trip. We both can cook. So we can go to the grocery store and cook together. It's even more romantic. One time I cooked and I burned the pan and we laughed and cried. Like, we were crying laughing in here. It was all about that experience for me. And again, I'm not capping up here. It's just I come from struggle, but I also have seen finer things, and I am a person who is all about experiences. I don't know where me and this gentleman will go. I don't know if we'll make it official, if we'll get married. I don't know. But from the looks of things, we both look and seem like we can see our lives with each other long term. He plans ahead. I'm spending the early 30s cleaning up my mess from my 20s, a mess that he does not have. So ideally, it will work. Huh?
How old is he?
He is 30 and I'm 31. He decided to not let me work and save and sacrifice. He understood delayed gratification early. Whereas then for me, I got 18, went to college, and started spending all my refund checks on fun stuff. And now I have to pay that back. So,
I'm curious, how much do you think he average he makes in a year? Just guess.
I think he makes $50,000. I make more than him, but he has way more than I do. He manages his money better. So we've even agreed, if we get married, we already know he's running the finances. I can run a household. Like, I can cook, I can clean. I don't like cooking, but I do it because I live alone. I have to. But we got that. You know what I mean? I'm stronger in my faith. He's stronger with finances. So both of us are actually compromising on what we thought were our non-negotiables. And it's working so far. Not gonna live.
So it sounds like he got whenever. Yeah, it sounds like to me. This is Curtis again. It sounds like to me that his strengths complement your growth areas, and you appreciate that, and you feel like by him moving the way he moves, it's making you be better and stronger. Am I wrong?
I get frustrated and it's making me better. Like, that's the thing. Like, he literally is not enabling me in this season at all. And I can't fault him because I asked God to put me in a place where I can be more responsible and accountable. And God knows how to get his girl's attention. Send me a good
I just wanted to tell you I love
Once again, YettaStarzz online. Would you only spend $50 on your first date? How you feel about it?
Did you say that she was in there cooking like Netflix and chill dates? You got it going.
I can make a mean, good old sausage and rice with some gravy, with some onions and peppers.
I see that's live right there. Look, you on there. That's the people on there.
Yeah.
Nah, but I did tell them I'm
That's TDJ's
not
daughter.
about to be cooking all these meals. I cook more, but I will say when he did actually take me out on dates, he took me to places that I hadn't been before and took me to places that did cost more. So I told him, even though I might feed you more, you spend more, technically. But he know how to do the thing.
Yeah. Listen, we're going to go to Cora and we're going to go back. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm proud of you. Get some advice.
Well, see, I think that
Hey, bro, I was just in the truck with the future room. Everybody in there got their CL. They talking about how they traveling and how the Indian people don't want to pay, pay them when they get there. They taking this 10,000. Some of them is 18,000. They trying to give them like 8,000 to do these trips and shit like that. But I wanted you to get in this room because it's still cracking right now, right? Because if they CEOs and they helping them buy trucks.
Sure that his money is straight so that he doesn't spend frivolously. I think that is very, very important. But then there is just
he said he make
$50 because that's all.
Yeah, so boy on there, he talking about owning your own stuff,
Or say it or share it or don't share it is of no consequence. The idea behind the $50 is what is really important. This $50 being given to me for the first date with the hands of a man who is managing his money, who is budgeting, who is financially conscious, or is this $50, this all I got?
And how do you get to know that? How do you, as a woman, let me ask you this question. I like what you're saying, but how do you get to know that? And make
like, how would you guys feel if y'all just spent his budget was only $50 to take you guys out? How would you feel about that?
Just like Ayo said, like there's a difference between this is all I got, $50, this is all I got. Please don't go over it.
Well, I don't think
I'm trying to wave my hand because I would like for them to know that prices went up, and that's our option.
Jeff, let's let her land too, because she was still trying to finish her point.
Oh, my bad. I thought we were doing popcorn.
Yeah, we doing popcorn.
It's fine. You'll know when I'm done.
You'll know
when I'm done.
She has a close.
I got a closer, okay. And so when we are able to see what hand this $50 is coming from, being able to dialogue about what this $50 is coming from, and the way that you deliver that message, I'm not spending more than $50 on the first date. There's so many different ways that can be delivered and received as just, okay, he's managing his money, and then there's another way that can be received based off of your delivery. And so you choose how you are delivering this $50 message, okay? And if you are delivering this $50 message from the poverty mindset and from the place of this is all I got, then 9 times out of 10, homegirl's gonna say no to you because you are not financially stable. But if you are financially stable, and this really is just stretching you, and you deliver that message in such a way, I don't think that there's any reasonable woman that would say, no, don't budget your money. No, spend everything you got on me. Not a reasonable woman. And so I think that that's what we're tussling with right now. We're tussling with the budget man and the broke man and the difference between the two. I'm just Cora. Govern yourselves accordingly. I just want to say this really quickly because I got to get back in this gym. I don't really care what he spends on the first date, and I really don't need to know. I just need to see your creativity and your effort. Whether you spend $5, $50, I don't care. But the thing is, I've already said before, I'm not your Cheesecake Factory girl. I'm not your Applebee's girl. I'm not your Starbucks girl. But what you're spending on the date does not matter to me. I'm looking at your attention to detail for the things that we've discussed and we've talked about. The same way in the previous room where we were talking about the Groupons and if that matters and all this other jazz. The same way that I don't need to know and don't really care if you use a Groupon is the same way that I don't need to know your budget. That's your budget. That's your personal finances. And on the first date, I don't think it's appropriate for either of us to be talking about finances. There are other things that we need to talk about and discover on the first date. So that's just my 2 cents.
So if I could jump in, it's okay. How's everyone? So I kind of, before I lose my thought, I wanted to say something about the person that spoke earlier about like doing things on the date being about the woman and doing things that you don't want to do, on the date. I think that is like really kind of weird because as you're getting to know someone, which I feel like you should before you even go on that first date with them, you get to know your compatibility with that person and what that person likes and what you like. And there has to be something, I would think, if you're dating with intention and smart, that you guys have something in common that you both like, that you both enjoy. So I don't really get the whole, doing this whole date and you're miserable or something you don't want to do, blah, blah, blah. Because the point is for you guys to connect. So it makes sense for you to pick something that you guys have connected on already and agreed that you guys both like, both enjoy, and then do something like that. I think the first date should be about that, not necessarily like, it needs to be all about her or all about him. And the point is to connect. The point isn't how much the person's spending. The point isn't how, necessarily where they're taking you, but like what you guys have agreed on that you both enjoy and that you can see as potential in the future of the relationship. I don't know when people are going out with people that they have nothing in common with, and I don't really see how that makes sense, but I would think that a man would say, we're talking blah, 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 and he says he likes bowling, and I like bowling too, oh my gosh, we'll talk, telling stories about bowling, like that would be a great first date, something that we would both discuss and enjoy and connect on. So I don't know, it's a little bit difficult to come in and say, like, take her to do something that I hate and whatever, and I'm spending my money to take her life.
I typed it in like this and I said,
You said share interest. That's my question. The reason why they share that off the goal, everyone based on the person, things that they put on. So that's how we're considering the conversation first, but
I was trying to send it to me. Oh, no. I gotta put it back to the recorder.
yeah, I'm trying to see how you living.
If a bed on the floor, that's a red sign, man.
But listen, that's not a red sign. That's a strong signal. Go the other way.
So could I just move in her place? Just move.
Right.
Bro, ain't nobody moving and putting their bed down. She should have moved with a bed frame.
And they're waiting for their furniture to come in.
Hold on. I think Kate was trying to figure out what you said.
Yeah, I wanted to that kind of sparks a question for me. For the men, if in terms of the budgeting, if she takes you somewhere or you guys go to a place that she regularly goes and you can't afford that, does that change kind of the dynamics? Because like for me, guys, what do you want to do? I usually suggest things that I go to and I pay for myself regularly. So whatever the cost of that is, I expect you to be able to pay because I can pay it on my own. So is that like? Well, I'm an event planner and I do event planning and things like that. So it would be smart of you to ask me because that's what I kind of do.
But that's where it gets dangerous. And I respect what you do, but like that's where it gets dangerous because I imagine you want a man that I don't want to assume you want a man that leads and has like confidence to like take the lead, right? I assume. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yes.
Okay. So if you're saying it would be smarter to ask you, that kind of contradicts the idea of him leading, doing what he's comfortable doing.
I don't know about that, right?
What do you mean?
Even if he just asks me for suggestions, like he said something
no.
I really want to do so and so and so.
No, but Kay, I think Jeff.
Hey, I told my client about this place. I don't know.
No. I think honestly, in Kay's defense, Jeff, to go back to writing off what you said, if let's say it's you and Kay dating, right, and y'all two are having a conversation, and you hear her often say like, "Hey, I plan this, I do that." That should be a clue to you that she likes to plan things and she likes to be involved in things. So as a leader within that relationship, I would ask her, I'm like, "Hey, where would you like to go on the second date, the third date?" Only because that's who she is, and so I can't rock with you never, bro.
Even if you don't ask me directly, and just ask me for like suggestions, like or ask me for do you know of any places? And I send you a list of places. Like I do enjoy, like Anthony says, I do enjoy doing stuff like that. But I don't mind you taking the lead too, and like you asking me because if you don't know, then what's wrong with asking? Not every man is like knowing everything. Not every man is that. That's not their.
Hold on. There's a difference between getting to know what a woman wants and saying, "Hey, where do you want to go?" There's a difference. Right? If you're having a conversation with someone and you're intellectual enough, you're going to pick up on things, right? And if there's a shared thing that is something you also like, yeah, you're going to do that. I'm not saying not to listen to her, but there's a difference. And I hear women complain about it a lot. Y'all can't tell me they don't. Where a guy says, "Hey, let's go out such and such and such." And she's like, "What's the plan?" And the guy goes, "What do you want to do?" That's a constant in the women that I talk to. So I can't co-sign on the idea of that. And I know that a woman might be a planner. That might be what she likes doing at her job and so on and so forth. But I think you just ask her, do you like a man that takes the lead? And if a man is capable of taking the lead, yes, he'll listen, but he's not going to be like, you come up with the plan. Like, that's crazy.
But asking me isn't coming up with the plan. Asking me isn't coming. Like, if you say, like, I really want us to go take a cooking class. Like, I know about so many cooking classes. Maybe you don't know. You know what I'm saying? And I send you a list. Like, these are some of the good cooking classes I know. We're talking whatever.
One second.
Yeah. Why not?
Let me interject, and I'm gonna let you guys get right back to it because this conversation is spicy. But I want to just do a quick reset. We have a lot of people rolling in. Continue to ping because this conversation is going to get even spicier. And if you want to get on stage, make sure you just have your Instagram attached and get on up here. Click that hand raising sign. We'll pull you on up.
Look at Team PTR.
Hey, best shot.
Lord.
Josh, I'm over here sipping on that yak because I'm back here, boy.
Go ahead, boy.
Lord, but
Yeah, we are in the Kingdom Perspective. Make sure you click that little green house at the top. The curator of this club is the one and only Mr. Joshua Bingham, who also serves as a relationship consultant and coach. So make sure you're following him. Click that bell in his profile so you get notified whenever he has these rooms, because they always get spicy.
Subscribe.
And I want you guys to know we're never disrespectful in these rooms. Joshua does not allow
don't forget
to use
to
foul
share
language or for us to disrespect one another. We love on each other up here, but we can get spicy with one another, but we all brothers and sisters at the end of the day. So, guys, take it light. Anyways, let's get back into this topic. I'm not spending more than $50 on the first date. And one more second, make sure you're following the curator of this club, Mr. Joshua Bingham, and anybody and all the moderators if you feel the need to. We always provide dope information. Follow us on Instagram as well. But yeah, let's get back into this conversation, you guys. Jeff and Kay, you guys are going at it. Whoever wants to, it's popcorn.
Yeah, we did all of them. Nigga, be quiet. Listen, that's my little, hey, y'all, hey, now watch. That's my little bro D. I can play with him like that. My name y'all JJ. It's not D, it's JJ. One of y'all do that, I'm gonna have to come off the steam because you don't want to cut somebody out. But listen, we go right back to King and Jeff, but we definitely want to let B twice and we end up getting that as well. But go ahead, King and Jeff, y'all have a interesting time.
So, bottom line is, I don't disagree. I think everybody has this idea that a man's not supposed to listen to the woman. That's not what the message I'm preaching. What I'm saying is a man needs to have his own personal interests in order to align to anybody in the first place, right? And then when he's making a plan for a date, since oftentimes a woman is looking for a man to take the lead, yes, he's going to listen. He's going to pay attention to what she wants. And if he finds something that he is aligned with, then he's going to say, okay, let's do this, such and such. But if she's saying stuff like, oh, I like private jets, I like doing this, she could like that. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. He's not supposed to be like, well, she says she likes private jets, even though I don't care for it, I'm just going to do it. Like, that makes no sense. Right? So there needs to be some mutual thing that he's also interested in, because it's two people getting to know each other. But he's taking the lead oftentimes.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I agree. Like I said, that's the first thing I said, mutual interest. Let's definitely do something of mutual interest. I just feel like with a lot of men, from my observation, that's not as much as a strong suit outside of like sports. It's not necessarily a strong suit in terms of like things that are going on in terms of date ideas and things like that. So that's all I'm saying, that if you can get a suggestion, and just people in the room, I mean, people hire me to plan stuff like this, like dates and things like that. So, and even if you're getting that information from somewhere else, just getting that information from somewhere could be helpful. But I totally agree. Like, has to be mutual interest. I agree. Has to be mutual interest at the end of the day. You win. We both do.
Oh Lord! I'm gonna tell you, I'm be twice. I know one thing, boy. One thing that gets the women to be quiet. You tell them they win. I'm messing. It's provocative. It gets the people going, Josh. It's because they're confused. They're like, what? Wait, you said what? I win. Who you trying to fool? They want to argue some more. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. Back in the day, I had a $30 rule on the first dates.
Oh, wow.
I had like 5 canned first dates. So first dates was all getting one of the 3 dates under $30 back in the day. Just saying. You take her out, meet her for a movie. You get there 45 minutes early. You walk into the mall, get Dippin' Dots. Get the largest one. Dippin' Dots taste great, unexpected. If you have Dippin' Dots, she's not going to get popcorn after the Dippin' Dots. Because then she looks like she just greeted. Man, what is going on? Hey, what grade? When you say back in the day, which grade were you? Hey, this is one of the grades. This is early 20s. Early 20s. It was like 10 years ago. Man said Dippin' Dots. Hey, Dippin' Dots.
Ooh, I've never heard of that. What's Dippin' Dots?
Hey, Dippin' Dots is what, $7? Popcorn is like $13. Hey, you got to pick and choose.
So how much is it today? $50? $40?
I'm whining and dining.
Now it's a little bit different. Now, honestly, I'm a little bit with Jeff on this. I don't go on a date unless it's something I want to do. Not in the beginning. First dates, I will consider her interests without a doubt, and I will try to. I'm always going to look for something that she'd be comfortable doing. I share the restaurant I'm thinking of ahead of time, but I will never go to a first date doing something that I'm not going to enjoy if she turns out to be a dud. It happens too often because all those, I think maybe most FaceTimes turn into disappointments when you meet them in person. So I'm not going to be stuck twice. With the bill. Hey Ruby, tell us about how you spend $5,000 on the first day.
I don't speak on stage just when Anthony or Neil is present. My voice and perspective irritates him, so I'm going to listen.
What? Don't say it.
Have a good night.
What? I'm speaking for Ruby. Let me speak for Ruby. Ruby. Come on now. She chose violence. She chose violence.
Ooh, what was that?
Hey, Brandon hit
Sounds a little suspicious to me.
That's why
Y'all on YettaStarzz channel though.
So, Josh, I have
No. Whoa.
Go ahead.
It's my first day.
We're not skipping over Ruby. I want to hear your thoughts, Ruby.
Go ahead, Ruby.
I'll pass, Anthony. I'm okay.
Ruby, what's up with you? What's up with this sad? If you don't wake up and take your head from the pillow and please share your perspective, we ain't got time to play this game.
Okay, y'all don't get the king of perspective. I'm listening to the clubhouse. I'm not going to spend more than $50 on the first date. This is the conversation. This is what's going on. If you got anything, comment below. Keep it decent and respectful. Subscribe, like, and share. Welcome to my channel, though. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my channel. Don't judge me right now. It's going to get better.
Cost of living went up.
After
The price of
a
things
while.
went up. And I'm under the impression that the first date that I gotta make a good example.
This is my first day right now.
There's gonna be another brother
So we're
somewhere
gonna try
that's
to
gonna
do
wine
it.
and dine you. And you're gonna be lost.
I only spent $6. I don't know what's going on. We're having some technical difficulties.
And if you feel like you can't get in there, people talking too much, you shoot me a back chat and I'll put you out, I'll interrupt and bring you in there. So yeah, I know sometimes people come up and don't know what's going on, but that's what's going on. But somebody was responding to me about $50 not enough. $50 ain't enough, man.
But Josh, that was my question. So is the $50 what you're spending on her or both? Because where are we going?
Yeah, you don't have to ride a bike because gas is high.
I got 5 days you can do for Technically, there's a bunch of stuff you can do $50. Come on now. Let's now that's just being, and that's being free. Museums you can go to. No, every museum is $25 and up.
They just don't want to go to no museum. They want to get food to eat.
What museum you know is under?
They're going to kick you out if you're just cursing. Technical difficulties, you guys. Wi-Fi has been on its own. I guess Wi-Fi is going through midlife crisis right now. Just hold on to your girl, because it's not my fault. Just hold on.
Yoga spot. Go and have brunch. You know, maybe she is vegan and going to like a gourmet salad spot where you get like a gourmet salad. I mean, there's different things you can do for $50. I'm just saying, there are things out there.
Oh, yeah.
People are creative.
Please answer me because I raised my hand.
There are things out there.
But anyway, yeah, it's on YettaStarzz TV. And if you know me, hit me up. Come on now. Support.
Hey,
I'm not asking for $1. I'm asking you to holler.
Back in the day, shoot.
That's
$200,
it.
I can take
That's
5
cheap.
chicks on a date. Easy.
So use your voice on this channel. How do you guys feel?
In a week.
I really want to let them know though, $50, you're not even going to get to the stove. You got to get gas, food.
Hey, nowadays, you get you one and just sit down somewhere.
$50 not going to get you nowhere to the gas station.
No, you just gotta get more money. Hey, that's all. Nah, bump that. I don't gotta get more money. Man, you can't even go to Dave and Buster's with $50, man. You need choking. Hey, but I'm gonna tell you like this. Y'all talking about getting more money. You can buy drip, but you can't buy swag. So you get all the money you want to. If she don't like it, she don't like it.
You know, that ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm gonna tell you a story, right? So I got a friend of mine, and she went on a date with this guy, right, who was a pilot, right? Now we went out to tacos, right? We went out to tacos, we're talking, we're eating and stuff like that. And she was telling me about like her date history. We just catching up, and she's like, "Yeah, I was dating this guy. He's a pilot." I'm like, "That's what's up. Talk to me. What's good?" And she's like, "Yeah, on a date, he took me on a plane and he flew me to an island." I was like, "Word? That's what's up." And we were hanging out on the island. We had dinner on the island. And it was a beautiful night. Now, I don't know what happened throughout the whole night, but she's like, "Yeah, it was a great this, that, and the third." And I'm like, "Okay, so how long have y'all been dating?" Meaning, I'm assuming they're still dating. She goes, "See, I wanted to like him, but, you know, I just wasn't feeling him." And I'm like, "Are you for real, for real?" So anyway, I understood what she meant, because at the end of the day, a certain amount of dollars is not going to necessarily take you to the next level if she don't like you anyway, right? So there's a lot of men who don't know which women like them. So they're doing a lot of things to figure out who's really with them and rocking with them. Because I guarantee you, if a man sees a woman that really likes him and he really likes her, he's gonna run out of money spending money on her. She's gonna have to tell him to stop.
That ain't you just spoke to my Jeff. Talk to him, Jeff. Jeff, ain't no woman about to tell a man. Oh yeah, you got a point on that one, Josh. Yes, there is, Josh. That's a lie, Josh. That's a lie. You got a point on that one. She ain't gonna tell you start spending money now. No, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm being facetious, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I get what you're saying though. She probably be like, "Hey, but it is women that'll tell you not to, man. What's up with y'all?" Hey. Hold on. Let's throw that question to the women on stage. Women, y'all heard the brother. Do y'all get to a point where, man, you say, man, you wake up, you're like, man, this Negro spending too much money on me. He paying for this, he paying for that, he taking me on vacations, he's doing this, he's doing that. You say, we're going here, we going out the country, anything I want, if I blink at it, he buy it, if I point at it, he buy it. Like, do y'all ever get to a point in the day? Is there a place? I think there is. That's why I'm asking this question. But is there a place where that spending too much money is a red flag?
How much money does he have?
That's a good question. That's a good question. He has $40 to his name. Hey, hold up. But the credit card is on. Well, hold up, T. That's why I asked it. It's a great question. The women, I want y'all to lean in on this. You know, is there a point like him spending too much money? Can it be? What you were saying?
No, I was asking how much money does he have, because too much money for you may not be too much money for him.
Jesus Christ. Take how much money he has out of the equation. Take it out the equation. He just spending money because we don't know how much money he has. So take how much money he has out the equation. Is there ever a place where you feel Eve, where you feel Ruby, where you feel Liz, Marla, and the rest of these women, Delicate, Michelle, Davies, all of y'all on the stage? Is there ever a place where you like, man, hold up, what's really going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, man, hold up, what's really? Is he trying to blind me or buy me? I mean, I'm really interested in
never think that. I never think that unless he doesn't have the money. Like if he pulls up to pick me up in like a Nissan, and then we go somewhere and he's spending like he's buying like ridiculous shit, I'm gonna be like, okay, like this is not shit that's in your this is not adding up to me. But if he clearly is balling and he's spending a lot of money, why would I say anything about that?
What did Kyle got to do with it though?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That don't mean he got it. That's what I'm saying. Like, just because of what... See, man, we do a good job of projecting what we really ain't got. You know what I'm saying? A lot of niggas run around here like they got a bag and got nothing. I'm just saying. So I'm saying...
Exactly.
If he gonna spend it on somebody, nah, but I feel it's weird out.
No, they all got the bag, bro. They all got the bag.
Yeah, I would pay attention to like what he's wearing, what does he do for a living, and things like that. I wouldn't just say, oh, he doesn't have the money or he's spending too much money. I would pay attention to other factors that would let me know, is he spending too much or that's what he usually spends.
We not finna turn this question for you. You asking a specific question. We asking for you to say if he is spending too much money.
What
this is a red flag.
Why don't you tell me?
Bye.
And let the tournament shit.
You're in the Matrix.
Breaking up.
You said let Michelle jump in. The attorney Michelle at the bottom. Jump in.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. So, yeah, there is a point where a man can spend too much money. I think it depends on the depth of the relationship. So if it's day 1 or 2 and you're just doing the absolute most, then I'm going to question either one, what are your expectations? Or do you have an expectation of getting something in return that you're probably not going to get? Or secondly, are you trying to buy my affection? I'm going to question your judgment. I'm going to question what's going on with you that makes you think that this is appropriate. If the relationship is progressing and both people are into each other, and maybe the woman, is reciprocating in other ways, maybe it's not monetarily, but, there's consideration, there's kindness, there's other things, then I think it's appropriate. But right out of the gate, if you're doing too much, you're just doing the absolute most, I'm looking at you sideways because I'm wondering, why are you not perceptive enough to know that I'm not into you like that? And it's just, it's unequal. It's inappropriate to start.
I think what also happens, according to Michelle, right? Like if you're spending a lot of money, a third thing is a guy can be overcompensating for something that he might not be real about. Wait, who's in the Matrix right now?
Wait, Josh.
Josh got his.
Josh in the Matrix, love.
Wait, are you saying something? What's happening?
Josh on the plane, right?
Yeah, it's that shit breaking up.
Hello, Josh.
Yeah, he cutting in and out. No, what I was saying was, Michelle, the third thing to the two things you said, sometimes men, they overspend at the beginning to overcompensate sometimes. And a lot of women pick up on that. They might not say it, but they pick up on that. And when the question was asked, is there a breaking point? I think there's a point where if all you're doing, not if it's in addition to, but if all you're doing is spending money, a woman can get bored, believe it or not, regardless of how much money you spend. And she's gonna get together with Leroy down the street, who might not have a lot of money, but he can have a conversation. He's good at bed. He pays attention to her and doing all this other stuff, because too much of a good thing sometimes can be boring.
You got me in real quick though, right?
If I can just finish this, I just want to respond to Jeff. So Jeff, I agree with that, and I think the other thing is you need to look at where the woman is coming from. So if she has her own, then the money is not as much, or it's not going to be as meaningful or convey maybe what you're trying to convey. Because a woman who has her own, she's probably looking for those intangibles. She's looking for, like you said, are you considerate? Are you kind? Do you have integrity? Do you have character? So those are the things that are going to be more impressive. So I think you have to also gauge where she's coming from as well.
Good point.
Yeah, so I want to say this, right? Because it seems like, when guys don't have money, right? Look, when guys don't have money, they'll assume that the woman that's with the guy with money, they just with him because he got money. And you I kind of hear undertones of that, like, well, the money gets boring later. Who's to say that it gets boring just because, you know, a person got some money? All it means is that the money allows us to have more fun. But, you know, me personally, I got a lot of personality. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of intellect that makes women like me. And then the fact that I can do whatever I want to do monetarily, and if I want to go here, go there, and she gonna enjoy that with me, it's just me. Obviously, I got some money to pay for this, but it's not just the money. And people, you know, who got money, it's fun bucks. It's people doing what works for them. I pretend I like to have fun. I like to travel. I like to eat good. I'm not doing this to impress her. This is what I do every day. But now you with me, so we going to the restaurant that I typically like to go. Do you like to eat this type of food? Because this is what I do on a regular basis. Do you get a passport? Because I travel on a regular basis. And this is not a person trying to woo a person over or spend too much money. This is just letting them know what this is how I do, and this is what life's like with me. Is this something that's comparable to your life or what it is? But it's not just because a person got money, and I just want to shower a person with all these experiences or gifts or whatever that may be. It's the fact that, hey, I might just be trying to show you, hey, based on conversation that we had, based on experience that you have had with other guys, I really might want to just go out my way to show you how different I am based on the guys that you had. So I don't know.
Hey, Lowe's, check this out. Let me come from this point angle just to kind of give you a different perspective. Maybe just because I got sisters, but like when we doing what we doing, we can't, like I always tell somebody, like you can't call somebody else's truth a lie. So you got to think about. I know all us are the exceptions to the rule. I'm assuming. But you got to understand, it's a bunch of bum-ass niggas in this world. So a lot of times, it makes them uncomfortable because the majority are trying to get something from them. The majority are trying to overdo because, they think that's what get them in the bed. They think that's what will woo them. So we're not talking about us having money because I'm just assuming everybody here got money. But I think it's us disrespecting, like, not their feelings, but maybe their concerns, their worries. And like when we dig into that, like it's kind of like, I think a woman appreciates you, like just listening to her feelings. And I think somebody said earlier comes to the communication. I had a woman that she was really driven. When I say she was driven. She take care of kids. She even took on like an extra Uber to pay for her real estate exam, shit like that. So I went a step further, and I paid for her classes. They had like practice tests. So I paid for her practice tests. I paid for her classes. Her birthday was coming up, and she had mentioned that she never knew what she was doing. She got with a big one. She's like, when I do this is one of my goals, and I kind of. Past experiences have been, and I think it'll help us a little bit better, like a little bit. Absolutely.
Close to the point. I don't know if this was intentional, but when you said you proved both of my points. When first you said, it's not just about the money. You gotta have, be a good conversationalist, have a good time, and so on and so forth. That was point number one. We said the same thing, but there are men that's all they're doing is the money, and they don't have those other things. The other point that you proved is when you said you're gonna do the things that you want to do anyway, and hopefully you're with someone that appreciates the things that you want to do just as much as you appreciate the things that she's also interested in. So we're saying the same thing, but maybe I'm assuming based on how you.
Guys, I was going to reset, Josh.
Yeah, go ahead. Let me say this, Shawty, and you can reset. Because that's a great point. Because just because a brother has money doesn't mean that's all that he has to offer. And honestly, if he's a good brother, the money only enhances his ability to do what he couldn't do.
Exactly.
Money change. No, money don't change nobody. Money just gives you the resources and the access to do what you couldn't do on a greater level. So if you was a bum, when you didn't have nothing, you just gonna be a bum with money.
Super bum.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, if you disrespected women and treated them like dogs and all this stuff, man, the money just gonna become a worse version of that. It enhances and gives you resources and access to do. And I think, I'll say this and give it to you, Shorty, I think this is critical. I think if we're wise, if women are wise, they will even look at guys that they're dating that may not have reached a certain level of income and finances. And if you're wise enough and patient enough and have enough discernment, you can look for certain quality traits and character traits in a man that you're dating or that you're in a quote unquote talking phase with that will give you a good indication. It's not always right, always 100%, but it'll give you a good indication of his potential and what he can, because a lot of times, what separates a man with money from a man that don't have money is opportunity. It's like a manifestation or harvest. So that's a great point, man, because a lot of times people think that that the level of money, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know about it. I don't want more money. Like,
are you asking women to date potential? Is that what's happening right now?
I think we all date potential in some regards. See, when I say potential, I think we all. First off, who is dating anybody that you want to be on the same level that you did that you met? We all date some level of potential. I'm not telling women to date men that are not financially stable enough to take care of them, etc. But I'm saying in some regard, we are all dating some level of potential. If you meet that man and he's making six figures, if he's making six figures, guess what? He doesn't want to stay at six figures. He wants to get the seven.
Yeah.
Whatever. And not just money. And a lot of times we pigeonhole the potential.
I think people just would like to be rich and don't do no work.
You want to be a better communicator. Like that's potential.
Really, I do.
You know what I'm saying? But
you want to reap the benefits, but you don't want to reap the hell in a relationship or whatever.
I'm not saying that you should throw away your standards and your expectations.
And what you plant is what you grow.
There's a lot of
if you plant like that, that's what's gonna grow.
Look for the money is good, but listen, look for the character. Because the character in how
we can go to the beach.
It's gonna be how character.
If
he treat his mom like dirt, if he treat his sisters like dirt,
he gonna treat you like dirt.
He can't do nothing for him like dirt.
Real
if he
talk.
treat the waiter and the waitress like dirt, guess what, baby?
Character recognizes character.
Say it now.
Yeah, that's true. But I think that you still have to be trained to look for it.
Yeah, you gotta have discernment.
And oftentimes, what it looks like in one person doesn't look like it in the next person, because you may not have the fruit of it. You see what I'm saying? You may not have the man. Like I look at my brother.
There's some people that buy people,
talking and giving his
real talk. It's people that really will buy a person. Love.
You can look at brothers,
and that's what they do, and
brothers that got millions, right? Brothers that,
and so that's all they know.
But guess what?
Real talk.
That a lot of times the traits,
and that's real talk right there.
Like the same traits that are in brothers that have four, they just have not arrived. You see what I'm saying? At that place yet. They're still working to it. So that's what I'm saying. Look for the traits, because oftentimes we judge somebody, and I'm coming short, I don't want to be along with it. Oftentimes we judge people solely on what we see, the fruit. And I'm saying take the fruit, but also look for the character, look for what's at the root, because what happens if they lose it all? What happens?
She gonna leave. What you mean?
You better have some character there that's gonna hold you in place. But go ahead, Shawty, give us.
Are y'all doing that too, Josh? When y'all pick them?
I am.
When it comes to
Like, I don't know. Are y'all just looking at, is she attractive and
Hold on.
quote unquote? Okay.
Liz, hold that quick. We going right to that question. That's a great question.
That's a great question. I love that question.
I love that question too. You guys, welcome. We thank you for being here. Make sure you click that little plus sign and ping some people in the room. And if you want to get up and have this conversation with us and be social with us, just click that hand raise sign, bring you up. But you must have your Instagram perspective. Make sure you click that little green house on the top and join our family. That's the very, very top to the left. If you click, make sure you're following him and click that bell to get notified when he has these pop-up rooms. These rooms get really, really spicy, and Leslie is about to come with the heat. I love my girl. But Joshua Bingham is a relationship coach and a consultant, so make sure you DM him if you would like to get some type of advice on your relationship, how to date better, whatever issues. So also, there's no cursing in the room. No, we try to be respectful in this room, and this is the Kingdom Perspective. We try to be respectful to one another. We all brothers and sisters in here, so sometimes we can get a little spicy, but just calm it down. We try to be respectful towards one another. Make sure you're following the curator of the club. Again, Joshua is an awesome brother. Like, he always is going to bring the heat, and he's always going to choose violence. I mean, look at the title. But let's get back into it. I'm not spending more than $50 on the first date. Okay, I know it's coke that you smoke, but it's cool.
Welcome to my channel. To whoever wants to step in or step out, subscribe, like, and share.
Yes. Okay. No, I was just wondering, Josh, like, do men do the same thing? Like, are you guys willing to work with women as much as y'all are expecting us to work with y'all? And like, I have buried my toxic ways, quote unquote. I'm trying to turn a new leaf. It's about to be 2022. But often I feel like men expect women to come as the full package that they're looking for. And if there is any room, it's like, well, she ain't got to be a 10. I'll take a 9.5, right? Or they'll have these crazy expectations of how they expect the woman to show up, and they don't leave room for that woman to be human, and for that woman to have mistakes, and for her to have errors, and will cancel out, will vilify, will ignore, and look over amazing women, their triggers, their traumas, or because she's not fully put together. So I'm just wondering, like, do you guys extend as much grace as you all expect women to extend towards y'all when you're broke?
I'm gonna let.
You know what, bro?
I'm gonna let Ayo get on that, but man, I got convicted, Ayo.
No, I'm serious, bro. And for the first time, bro,
Because I didn't cut a lot off. I didn't cut.
That's what I'm, bro.
Because at the first sign of foolishness, Ayo, I'm gone. Go ahead, Ayo. Go ahead.
Now, Les, I mean, it's a fair question, Les, and I think I'll be one of the first men to admit, in the past, I have not. I have honestly not been the guy that has been like, I can work with that. All right, cool. Nah, I wanted her to come with the full package. And I think that's only because I come with a better package than most 37, 36, 35-year-old men. And I admit that that is a wrong thought for me to have. Just because I am better off in certain areas doesn't mean that she's still not going to work with me in other areas of my life. And so I tend to, in the past, I tend to, like, all right, you got this, you got that, you got this. She need to come with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. And so
Don't
I mean, but that's real. So it's like, in the season that I'm in now, it's like, all right, cool. Focus on those 5 S's that you have, and then work with her. Now, I can't work with. Now, this is where I am saying. I need a spiritual woman. Like, I need someone who loves God. I cannot be with a woman who says, I don't really believe in God. I'm working on it. Can you work with me on that? I can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But she may not have the 9.5 body. Let's be real. She may have the 5.5 body. I mean, I just got to be at now this season of my life. I mean, I said 5, maybe. Lord Jesus. Hey, man, I'm just trying to keep it real. I ain't even playing with y'all.
You saying you keeping it real. You said 5.5.
Yeah, bro. I mean, what you trying to say?
What's up, Raider? She ain't got no head boys on. What's all right?
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, if she got a 5.5 and I want a 9.5, then I got to be willing to work with it. I mean, and that's something that I should just talk to my therapist about that. This is 2 weeks. Yeah, this is the last session, so it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And she was like, "We need to look at you. What are your expectations?" And some of my expectations are wrong because they're just wrong. There's no excuse for it. So I'm working on it.
The reason why I said that, AO, is like I would imagine the type of person you are. You're going to be surrounded by a lot of 8s and 7s and 9s, whatever, however you want to categorize it, right? Because if you have an idea of what that is for you in your head. So for you to say you'd be okay with 5.5, whatever that means, that usually doesn't work long term if you have access to things, right? Now, I don't know everybody's situation in this room, but I think a lot of the issues that we have as men is as we elevate, our options get better, right? The potential that you were okay with at the beginning may not be what you're okay with later. Same thing with a woman, right? So, when you say 5.5, that's just a dangerous.
It sounds like 41K to woman. Honestly, like 5.5, 41K. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back.
41K. No. What do you mean?
Don't listen.
Write that down.
I'm sorry. I said that God.
I'm sitting here trying to be respectful and lesbian.
Listen, God said. I said God was working on me. I didn't say God.
We just got out of a 4-week battle about that 41K.
All right, leave it alone. Yeah, me too. I ain't gonna lie. But Jeff, you're right though, man. But here's the truth. No disrespect, but the 9.5, the 8.8s, the 10, even the 10s, bro, were some of my worst headaches. And so for me, I was like, cool. Have I skipped over a 5.5 that could eventually, end up at an 8? But she had everything else that I needed, but she didn't have the 5. She didn't have the 8. And so
what made her not a 8 and a 5.5?
I mean, I'm a butt man, bro. I'm gonna be real. You know what I'm saying? I am a, you know what I'm saying? I'm a butt guy. I'm a nice shape thing back there, and I've skipped over some ladies who have flat butts, and so it's like, but it's like, man, bro, I had to really ask myself, have I skipped over someone that had everything that I wanted, but she didn't have this stuff? And to Les' point, she could have gotten there if I just would have worked with her. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna call myself out. One chick didn't have a butt. She hit them squats up in the gym, bro. Listen here. That's all I'm gonna say.
Can you ask a woman that?
You can pay for it.
You can pay for them now.
Yeah,
is that insulting?
Like, is that insulting to ask a woman?
Yes,
can I buy you a butt?
Yes, absolutely.
But wait. I gotta ask the ladies that though. Like, if he say I will buy it,
fact,
is that still insulting?
Hey,
what if she dies on the table?
Hey, I got a true story about that. No, I want to hear the lady's response. Anthony asked a good question.
I said down the table, man.
I said, don't you dare. I feel like listen.
Is she telling herself this?
I'm struggling. Hold on, Jeff. Hold on, because I'm trying to make sure old Leslie stays buried real deep. Don't you dare fix your mouth to tell me what you want to pick apart on my body to the point where it's surgery. I think it's a difference to express like what you desire and what gets you going and, get your blood flowing to the right areas legally. And then when you're just like being malicious at that point, because then when I start asking if we can get an enhancement surgery on parts of your body, because you're just not reaching areas that I typically want you to reach, then I want you to see how that feels, and I'm going to just leave that there.
Hey, real talk.
that part is Liz, and the surgery doesn't mean anything if you have ED. Hello. Oh my God.
Hold up.
Hello.
Yeah, I do know it's a lot of women asking.
Hold up.
Though, right?
Hold up, Trey. We gonna go to Nehemiah with Candace. Why is you so toxic?
Yeah, you gonna have to subscribe.
Candace said the surgery doesn't mean nothing if you have ED. Go ahead, Nehemiah.
So
Let's talk about it.
Hold on.
Now, how is she gonna say, like, do we overlook women for those type of things, give them a chance, when she was one of the main ones to say he got to be a certain height. If he make it under 72K, he need to sit at home, get his life together. So, you know, I was there.
We would not say who said it, but Nehemiah. I would say this. I think that we can communicate what we like. I do think it's very insulting if I come to a woman and tell her, "Hey, I need you to go lay on the table because
stop."
You know what I'm saying? I need you to go lay on the table and let them put them two pillows back there. Come on now, y'all.
I have never had a woman turn that down. Never had.
I got a true story about that though.
No way. You can't go. Hey, y'all know y'all can't go to a woman and tell a woman, "Hey, I need you to go lay down."
Josh.
And let them.
But Josh,
They not turning it down, son.
Josh, listen to what I did. Now this is the truth. The truth. So this woman I was dating, right? She said that she wanted to go get a breast reduction. Real heavy up top. She want to get a breast reduction. Cool. Now she had been trying to lose some weight at the same time. So I was like, hey, all right, so this is what we'll do, right? We'll get all that breast reduction. You know what I'm saying? We'll get everything. We'll do old switcheroo, move everything around because she ain't got nothing behind her for real. I said, well, listen, this is what I do. I'll pay for everything. Even if you don't have PTO time, I'll pay you for whatever time you miss. I'll go and pay for it since you already talking about getting on the table anyway. Then she wants to sit there and throw it on me and was like, hey, well, that means you don't like how I look. I was like, you already talking about getting on the table anyway. I'm just trying to recycle the stuff that you had already been talking about. And so, you know, it ain't work out. But
you was out of line. You was out of line. I'm gonna tell you why. Because she was trying to get something else done, and you said, why you at the grocery store?
Right, let me go on and supersize my order.
Yeah, you said why she was going to the grocery store for some milk and eggs, and you said, well, why are you at the grocery store? Go pick up a loaf of bread. No, you can't. You can't do that. I'm just saying. I think that there ain't nothing wrong.
I'm starting to kiss ass. I can't do it.
This is why I believe in this. I just believe in getting with seriously dating people that do it for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of times we're trying to make people fit into what we like instead of just finding the person that fits. You know, it's like going to